All right, let's keep going on a bunch of different policy things that I've been wanting to talk about, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to talk about today. Let's talk a little bit about Title 42. Title 42 is something that was created under Donald Trump's CDC to very quickly remove people from the United States without actually going through the deportation process under the guise of public health. And numerous legal opinions are that it's being misused or it shouldn't even exist in the first place. But the Joe Biden administration is using Title 42 to remove people as well. And we should be, if we were critical of Trump using it, we should be critical of Joe Biden using it as well. So let's look at a relatively recent Time article about this. Biden is expelling migrants on COVID-19 grounds, but health experts say that's all wrong. Despite sharp criticism from top officials and allies within the Democratic Party, President Biden is continuing to expel hundreds of thousands of migrants arriving at the U.S.-Mexico border using a specialized public health order that allows officials to circumvent the normal trappings of immigration procedure, including asylum interviews. The Biden administration is defending its controversial use of the order called Title 42, arguing in court that summary expulsions are, quote, necessary due to the ongoing risks of transmission and spread of COVID-19. But a growing cacophony of top public health experts are calling foul. There's no evidence that a policy allowing for mass expulsions prevents the spread of COVID, they argue, and it may in fact have the opposite effect. By rounding up and detaining hundreds of thousands of migrants in large groups, CBP, which does not offer COVID testing for migrants, may actually be stoking the transmission of the disease. Migrants often spend days and weeks in crowded facilities before they are transported and expelled. The Title 42 order fuels the pandemic, says Julia Kohler, assistant professor of pediatrics. It does not promote public health. It is opposing public health. Top Biden administration officials also appear to be distancing themselves from the policy. Alejandro Mayorkas said Title 42, quote, is not an immigration policy that we in this administration would embrace, but we view it as a public health imperative as the CDC has so ordered. Remember, Title 42 was passed by the CDC under Trump. I'm sorry. No, Title 42 was passed in 1944 as part of the Public Health Service Act. But it was used by Trump to expel people without going through the full process of requesting asylum, getting that asylum interview. If it's rejected, going through a deportation. It's basically like a sort of do not pass go, do not collect $200, just a direct expulsion. Under the order, the CDC can temporarily suspend the introduction of persons into the U.S. when the CDC director determines the existence of a communicable disease in a foreign country or place creates a serious danger of the introduction of disease in the U.S. The order has never been used this way before, nor was it intended as an immigration tool. In April of 2020, he wrote, Stanford law professor Lucas Gutentag wrote, never before in over 75 years has it been used as a substitute or mechanism for regulating admission under the immigration laws. This is complicated by the reality that one can, you have to read between the lines, although it's pretty obvious that this was being used by Trump as a way to enforce his immigration policy rather than an actual public health measure. And part of the way we know it is that some of the reading between the lines is obvious because Trump didn't really take the virus seriously. At the same time that he was not talking about masking, pushing back against closures, praising Ron DeSantis for opening Florida early for, I think it was wrestling and UFC or whatever the case was, Trump was using Title 42 to justify direct expulsions, circumventing the actual asylum and deportation process on the basis of public health. So it was very transparent that Donald Trump was using this without actually caring about the public health piece and just saying, hey, here's a great way to get people directly out of the country. Unfortunately, the Biden administration has been doing the exact same thing. I think that there are sort of two issues here. Does it work to stop the spread of COVID? And is it morally the right thing to do? I think the answer is no on both. In terms of does it help stop the spread of COVID, as many health experts have weighed in, including the ones I just quoted, it doesn't seem to. You are, even though the premise is direct and rapid expulsion, it still takes weeks, if not months. And during that time, folks are crowded together without being tested for COVID. You may actually be spreading COVID by using this policy. That's number one. Number two, what about morally? I think it doesn't pass the moral test either. We should actually adjudicate asylum requests, etc., in the proper, normal channels, period. And while we were critical of the Trump administration for doing this, we must be critical of the Biden administration for doing it. I think it's wrong either way. I don't care if it's a Democrat or a Republican in the White House. If you disagree with me, if you think it's okay to be using Title 42 on this basis, then I want to hear from you. One of our sponsors is Privacy.com. They're giving you $5 when you sign up for their completely free service at Privacy.com/Pacman. I've been using Privacy for a little over a year now. You've heard me talk about it before. It's a lifesaver, and here's how it works. Takes just a couple of minutes to set up. Anytime you buy something online or on the phone, instead of actually using your real credit card number, the Privacy app and the browser plugin let you give each company a randomized virtual credit card number that you create out of thin air. It'll even autofill the card number with one click. And the payment is taken out of your checking account without the merchant ever knowing your real information. So this allows you to keep your banking information secure, but also to take control of your finances. You can create up to 12 of these virtual credit cards a month. You can set spending limits. You can freeze them. You can delete them anytime you want. So when you do this, it means you're not going to be charged when you don't want to be, because you can destroy the virtual card number right after using it, which, for instance, I love using free trials because I know I won't be charged when the trial is over if I use a virtual credit card number. You're keeping your identity private by not telling companies who you are. You're keeping your bank or credit card info protected against data breaches and identity theft. And it's free. There's no catch whatsoever. But if you want, Privacy also offers a $10 a month plan that gives you 1% cash back and lets you create 36 credit cards a month, and a $25 a month plan tailored more for small businesses where you can create 60 card numbers a month and much more. But definitely go ahead and at least get started with the free plan. You'll protect your financial info. Companies can't charge you unexpectedly. And like I said, you'll get $5 to spend when you sign up at Privacy.com/Pacman.